Here's the Yerushalmi Yomi, Maseches Demai. Today we are doing the Afternoon test in the article, starting Mamish at the top, and in the Vilna it is Adel Chav Zayin on the base, 4 lines above the Mishnah of Halacha Hey. So the Gemara says, Yisrael Shem Mocher Zaysim. So telling Zaysim, it says Bishishim Lug. Shatar Yisrael takes out the base. I don't know if that's necessary, but it's selling 60 Lug of Zaysim, Tvulim from which no Chumas and Mice have been taken off. Amar Lo. So he said to them, now there's a word missing here, which is in the Kisvei Yad, and Shatar Yisrael brings it down, which is Amar Lo HaKohen. Either HaKohen or Kohen. It works either way. It's namely, given to me, I'll give you 60 log, which are fixed. In other words, they have the Teva, the Chumas Mice, take it off. Mutter, it's permissible. It's an exchange, and there's no problem. Shishim log tfulim can be, he has 60 log, which are tebel, like above. Vaniva ad chokim is a maisrus. Give it to me, and you and I will divide up the maisrus. So, also, in that case, it's forbidden to do that. So he's giving him similar case, but he's giving him only 30 mitukanim and 30 tevel in return, or he's giving in this case. So the Gemara says also. So it should be more mutter than the first case, because first case he's giving back something which is completely meiser. He's giving something which is only partially meiser. So he's being marviach the Yisrael less. Why should it be us in this case? So the Gemara says, "Kedu yoav lekule mutter." Where it gives all of it exchange, it's mutter. Kedu yoav lepalga also. If it gives half of it in exchange, it's also. Rabbi Yosef said, "Kam marviach lo." Here it's talking about where he says, "Give it to me. You give it to me today, and I'll give you back in the future." 60, 30, which are mice, and 30, which are not. Oh, so the issue is ribis. In other words, he's being married, giving him a revach. He's getting stuff which doesn't have the meiser, and it's doing it be over the account of agar notar, because he's waiting to get it. So therefore, that is an isim shum ribis. The tiny came, and this is we learned in a brisa like this. Ima marviach lo aser. If you're giving him, if he gives him extends the time, it's forbidden. Mishum ribis. And also mishum bizayin kachim. And it seems the first case is no bizayin kachim because it was an immediate exchange. But if it's being used in a ribbon stick away, that is bizayin kachim, and that's not permitted. So the two problems here: the ribbis and the bizayin kachim. Says the halacha hey. A person should not sell his friend. His person should not sell olives only to a chaver. So the olives here says if Moshe b'zeisim shenit l'shu, there's a zeisim which have been severed from the ground below shel kabel tuma ma'iri, not yet mukshel kabel tuma. Going shadayin lo hiziu zeas hamaton, such as they haven't sweated the sweat, which is sweat before they are pressed. Anyway, so even though they haven't yet been mukshel kabel tuma, Shammai says can't give it to a chaver. So, you can get a person. You don't have to get the chaver is going to keep it tahar, as long as he is maaser, as long as he's going to take off meiser. So we're not chayshish for tumantara, but we are chayshish for meisus. The people who are more meticulous in mitzvahs are called snuim. So they would do k'divrei Beis Shammai and would only give to a chaver. But says more. The reason Beis Hillel is the derech make adam lechozu same tuning. So the Bnei Moshe explains that it's bitmiyah. Klamar my time to be still. Chider b'nei lechol zeisim shein atunin b'socha ma'atar b'korm sheyaziu. In other words, why basically accurate? It's going to be mukshel kabel tuma, right? So therefore, the way to read it is Amir time beisad hill derech b'nei lechol zeisim atunin. Ella ayidei ila. So it's a through a ruse. And in other words, we say, you know what? Maybe he's going to. We It's like a loophole. We know he's going to be matame, but maybe he won't. So since maybe he won't, so therefore we say that's enough of a basis for us to give it to him. So even Basil really seems to be concerned with Tumah Tara, but he says the the way because of the Elah, we let it go. So the Chaim changes the gear sub and makes them more palatable. It says Amri Rabbi Yochanan Tam the Beisil Derech Me'am Lechozo Same Atuni. Period. Then the Gemara puts in from the Gra the Chiderech Me'adam Lecho Locho Same Atuni. What do you mean? People don't eat their Same Atuni. Ella rather Aide Ela. Okay, so this is a ruse, again a legal loophole, which you can use in order to sell it to the to the person who's in person coming betamit. Beisil kedaiton. Beisil follows his line of reasoning, the Danino, which we learned. Now to sell a person an amoretz a cow which is used to plow during Shemitah because he's going to use it to plow. Beisil matirin. Beisil say it's okay again because a ruse. It's not, in other words, the loophole is so because they could theoretically shecht it and eat it. So again, does a person shecht the ox which is going to use which you said designated plowing? Aide ila. Again, it's aide ila. The same idea. It's a loophole. It could be as because of Darkei Shalom. In other words, we don't want to eliminate all our Masa Matan with Maratzim, etc. So therefore, we look for a loophole in order to continue doing so. And both Beisham and Beisil agree that you can sell the Amoretz grain for his dough, even though you know he's not going to make a Batara. Why? Because the Elah is a broader Elah. It's a more logical Elah. So, because maybe he's not going to eat them as dough. He's not going to make them dough when they're mushal kabatuma, but he's going to eat them as toasted grain because it's selling grains. The toasted grain is not mushal kabatuma. So, and the Beis Shammai is also matir because people that do very often eat toasted grain and never was mushal kabatuma. You could also add that if it's nilosh b'mei peros, if you made a cake out of it, so then and he only used mei peros, so then also that would not be makabatuma. So, but so that there's double chance that it won't be mushal kabatuma, either because it be klayos or because it will be used to make kneaded together with fruit juices, not with water. Tani, Shavin she'ei mochin gadi shalchitin. They both agree that you don't, based on the Shammai, that you don't sell a gadi shalchitin, a pile of wheat, vavik shalnovin, a basket of grapes, to maton shel zeisim, a container of olives, el chaver, only the chaver, umi sheodeh she'oso so betara. Only the chaver was somebody who's going to do it betara. So evidently, all these things already mukshar l'kabatuma. The Gadish, I guess, somehow got they got wet somehow because the Ovid Shlanove means that the grapes already are sweating and emitting beverage, which is a precursor to their becoming pressed for wine. And the olives are also sweating and emitting beverage, which is a precursor to becoming olive oil. So therefore, since they're already mukshar at this point, l'kabatuma, so therefore we're not mako to allow you to sell them to an amoritz. Even to a person who's meiser. So I'm not sure. By the way, the gears are changing. I gave before from Chaim, also read Baz says it. Yeah, the Rebbe Moshe says, "If shalom aflu alav mayim." af mixas mimenu. Came lo yada b'nizar, and since he doesn't know, he's careful. Kin shema huchshar. Okay, so evidently a few shibolim, a few stalks of grain, we don't have to assume that any water came into contact with it. But if you have a whole pile, it's unlikely that the moisture didn't reach it and somehow make it prohibited. So they ask Gemara, Bavich Novim Lo Teirahu. So this is the Pnei Moshe says, Aschat Kushi Rabbi Yochanan Kamei. Speaking of a question of Rabbi Yochanan, as we shall see. Klemar, meaning Chilosh meaning Meach Brayso the Osulim Kor Avich Shel Novim V'She'eno So B'Tara. Don't we hear from the fine Brayso now to sell him? Mishum the Avich Shel Novim Lo Teirahi B'Tmiya Hamina Torah Mechashro. Sheyotzim mehem mashkehu. For the maton shel zeisim, the truth is the maton shel zeisim. And Nakat Kamaisa just tells you, talks about that novim and huadin leidach, and that's true about the olives as well. Come on. So so it says the Gemara. Vavashem lav Torahu. Later, the plea Rabbi Yochanan. Then says the argument Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Kishem Shamru Katan Chomrin Kach Amu Maitan Shel Zeisim Chomrin. Moshe explains. Agmas Rabbi Yochanan Masis and Reish Perik Test the Taros Itmar. This is going on the well, actually, you know what? I see it in my Gemara here. I said that after seeing the Pnei Moshe, I decided that that's not the pshat. I should go like Reb Chaim. So he says that the Chomri means to place, to allow a katan to tap on the dough. In other words, it's a chumrah not to allow the cotton to tap on the dough. It says, in other words, the cotton might be tameh, and therefore we don't let him touch the dough. So the Reb Chaim explains, even though Miraisa a cotton ain't bodasli shoyel, sveikotar, anytime you don't know somebody can't be queried as to his status and what he did. Right, so we say we're Mako, and we assume that somebody else gave him the dough, even if we find the dough in his hands. We assume somebody else gave the dough, he didn't tap on the dough. And so we say by the olives, the matan shel zeisim, it's chumrin, and of course by the grapes as well. That the moel, the sweat which comes out of the olives, is not machshir medivator, it's a chumrin rabbanan. So it's a kasha to Rabbi Yochanan because it sounds like, from the fact we don't sell Tanam Oretz, that it's the Raisa, not the Rabbanan. So this question on this Rabbi Yochanan, right? So Rechizka Amar Rabbi Yoina b'Shem Rabbi Yirmiyah said, they answered Ma Plihin b'Chiburin. So Rabbi Yochanan is not talking about hechsher. He's talking about if tamei beverages fell on some of the olives in the matan, and then they all become tamei, because since they became soft and there's the sweat coming out of them, it connects them. So on that, Rabbi Yochanan said that matan shel zeisim is a chumrin. In other words, that the idea of matan shel zeisim, that it's all a chibur, that's a chumrah. The hechsher is the raisa, but that it's also considered one chibur, that's a chumrah d'rabbanan. V'isha b'chomakom, all over nashu chibur, if things bite into each other, Chaim explains it, that if you come to separate them, they take a bite out of the thing next to them. Mo chen chibur, crushed together is not considered to be a chibur. V'kafilum mo chibur. But here, even if it's just crushed together, it's considered to be a connection. But in terms of the hechsher, Even Rabbi Yochanan agrees that midoraisa it's mushal kabatuma. Okay, and we